Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak Irman Gusman yang saya sangat hormati, the Governor of Jakarta and other governors from various provinces in Indonesia, the Vice Chairwoman of the House of Regional Representatives, the Chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, ambassadors, excellencies, honorable members of the Business for Environment Summit, honorable captains of industries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real honor for me to be here tonight in our dinner dialogue in celebration of the International Year of the Forest, and to introduce to you our guest of honor. When I was appointed as the chairman of the Investment Coordinating Board just about 13 or 14 months ago, one of the first speeches I had to make was at the climate change workshop that was organized by the London School of Economics and the ASEAN Secretariat. It was then that I realized that in fact I was also supposed to be working on another climate issue. That was the investment climate. The investment climate in Indonesia is one that's predicated on an investment roadmap that seeks a future where every Indonesian citizen understands what a green economy is all about. Seeks a future where every Indonesian citizen understands how to act upon it. Seeks a future where every Indonesian citizen is committed to the implementation and the reduction of the carbon emission by 26% or 40% by 2020. Seeks a future where everybody understands that Indonesia will play a very instrumental role in making sure that Indonesia and many other countries in the world represent the main lungs of this earth. A future that every Indonesian understands that there needs to be a balance between an industrialized nation and a green conscious nation. The National Council on Climate Change reported that Indonesia emits about 2.2 to 2.3 billion tons of CO2 per year, or about 8% of the global emission. It is the world's third largest emitter after the United States and China. Out of this number, around 80% comes from land use, especially peatlands, and also forest. Worldwide, forest and peatlands act as biological carbon sinks, slowly lowering the amount of greenhouse gases in atmosphere by storing atmospheric carbon in biomass. These carbon sinks are threatened by deforestation and decomposition, which leads to greenhouse gas emission, either slowly due to degradation and decomposition or quickly through fires. Imagine if Indonesia could attract funding or money by reducing these carbon emissions, by which Indonesia could be making an offer in terms of a new approach for a global deal to mitigate climate change against a backdrop of international efforts to deal with the problem. It can do what it always aspires to do in terms of developing a pro-growth, pro-poor, pro-job, and pro-environment. If we take Indonesia's emission from peatland or land use, which is around 1.8 billion tons of CO2 emission per year, at a few dollars per ton, that translates to a few billions of US dollars per year, which I know will be a significant amount which can then be invested in communities, new technologies, and other investments that could improve the livelihoods of everybody in Indonesia. This could be a solution where actions to mitigate and reduction emission are in line with our development objectives. It's not an easy task, but realizing even half of the amount that I was just talking about will be a significant amount that would mean a lot for every ordinary citizen in Indonesia. I'm a perpetual optimist. I believe that actions will mean results. And these results are more than likely to be positive for every Indonesian in this country. The land use sector is gaining momentum in climate change negotiations, and initial steps in the right direction are in place, exemplified by our President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono's initiatives in terms of having signed agreements in Norway for reduced carbon emission, and also several other bilateral and multilateral commitments which we have committed thus far in the past year or so. Our efforts in intensifying investments in eco-friendly initiatives have also fruited in our ability to attract investment